This is Alana Roweller, and this is my video for brain dissection for anatomy and physiology lab. So here we have the cerebrum. It's separated by the medial longitudinal fissure, which goes in between. And then back here we have the cerebellum, which this controls balance and muscle coordination. Down, and we can kind of go down here. We have the corpus callosum. This connects the two cerebral hemispheres together. And underneath that, we also have the thalamus, which is kind of in this area here. So the thalamus is the sensory. That's where the sensory nerves, most of them go into. And then also over here we have a ventricle. There's also a ventricle here. So this would be the lateral ventricle. And then underneath here would be the fourth ventricle. And then here, kind of in this area, would be the pons, which this contains nerve tracts that connect the cerebellum with other parts of the brain. And then also back here we have the spinal cord. Going back to on the cerebrum, we have the gyres, which are the folds, and then we have the sulcus, which are the grooves in between the gyres. So then these would be the gyres, and then the sulcus would be the grooves. Okay. So the olfactory bulb is on actually the inferior part, which is right here. So the olfactory bulb basically contains the cells that interact with the olfactory nerves. Flip this back over. The medulla we have right down here. So this is the most inferior part. This contains centers that help control blood pressure, heart rate, and also respirations for breathing. And then there's also white matter, which are the inner portions of the cerebrum. So you can see, you can kind of see that in here, white matter. So there's bundles of axons within the brain that are contained here. So the ventricles, they showed them earlier where they were, but they are the cavities in the brain that are filled with cerebral spinal fluid. And then the other, there's a fissure right here. So that would be the transverse fissure. And then underneath the lateral ventricle, there is the hippocampus, which is involved with emotions and also helps with creating long-term memory. And then in the third ventricle, is where melatonin is secreted. And that will conclude my dissection of the brain.